Oh, hello, hello. I have a few tonight. I think everything is working. I think we have everything working. All right, as usual, just give it a few minutes. Let people come in if there is a few coming in. If you have anybody here, let me know if everything's working, sound okay. I think I have everything plugged in. I kind of took everything out for a while and I had to replug and reboot everything. So, okay, Andres, how you doing, Andres? Mimo, how you doing, Mimo? Welcome to the stream. 3 people. Doc, how you doing? Joseph, how you doing? Get our usual bunch. Paddling Fly, how you doing? Everybody's here. Yeah. All right. Hope everybody's okay. It's been a while. Yeah. Happy to be back streaming too. It's been a while. Kind of let it on the back burner, running out of material. So working on a few new streams and a few different things. So this week we had that BodyTubing mice and had quite a few interest, even though there is a video that I made a tutorial on it, a short one, but it seems that a lot of you guys like the streaming version, so I'll do a stream of that one tonight. And there's a few more planned. I think some of you guys have asked for some nice things to look at, so that's pretty cool. Casey, thank you. Slamming a few today, not so bad. I kind of lay off the fishing at the moment. We're having a bit of a warmer spell at the moment, so the water is it's gone up a little bit in temperature, so I'm kind of leaving the pike nice and quiet for the moment, because Irish pike are not really good for once the water gets too hot. It's not really hot, it's about 19 degrees, but here they don't like it. I'm gonna try to go for perch next week, but I know what's going to happen. I'm probably going to catch pike. So as long as it's jack pike, it's not too bad. The jacks don't mind. You bully them, unhook them quickly, and they go back, no problem. It's just you don't want to catch a big fish in hot water at the moment. It's not good for the fish. So yeah, BodyTubing big mice. Been a while I've been fishing that one. Different version. I tied bigger ones with double articulation, one at the back, one at the front, and definitely the small version is the one that I really like. I put a few pictures this week on Instagram, and it's a nice easy tie, and you could use some of your old bucktail as well, so I like that because many people get to their old bucktail once you stripped everything on your bucktail. You just end up with like the color that was dyed into it is gone. You start to get more of the natural bucktail at the back of it, and that's my prime stuff for tying these flies. I like mixing the two. Like for example here I have a little bit of that sand color, so I'll use a bit of that mixed with the natural one. I kind of like the natural color for it. Kind of suits that pattern. So as usual, if you have any questions during the streams, just fire away, and I'll keep an eye on the chat and try to answer whatever question you have, guys. I presume everything is working because nobody's been shouting at me, so I think sound and picture is okay. I swapped the cameras, as you see. Put the better camera onto the vise and the shitty webcam onto my face, because that's what you don't want to see in HD. So this one, small articulation at the butt. So what you need for this one, you need rabbit, you need bucktail, you need a bit of wire to make the articulation, and some BodyTubing. I use two types of BodyTubing for that one. I have the small one for the body and the butt. That's which one is this one? This one is the, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it's the 6-7 mil bit thick one. So it's the fairly narrow one. That's the one. That's for the body. So different colors you can do. Like you see, sometimes I like to use a bright one for the body. It kind of gives you a little bit of a contrast. So I'm actually running out of BodyTubing. I'm gonna have to put an order, but I have this is nice as well, kind of orange or pinks. They're nice for the inside of the body. Yellow too. I like yellow. Actually, I'm going to do it with yellow today. And for the head, you want to use the large BodyTubing. I think on the Flyman website or on the fly tying website, fly shops, this is the, what is it? It's the 1/2 inch, I think, that one. But it translates in this one in 14 mil. That's the large one. That's gonna go for the head. So that's the two types of BodyTubing. What else do you need? I knew I forgot something, and I don't have it here with me. Just give me a second. I need a lighter. That's the one thing you need, just to burn off these bits of BodyTubing. Because if you don't do that, it's just gonna go in a mess. So I'm gonna get a clean cut. Just burn the end bit. That's it. That's just gonna save your BodyTubing from unraveling. So first, we're gonna do the articulation. So this one I use 0.70 mil stainless steel wire. Don't need to go heavy. It's only holding the butt section of the fly. It's not linked. There's no pressure. There's no hook linked to that, so you can go with light wire. You don't need to use heavy wire for that one. So the usual. We're not going to make a huge one. So round nose pliers. get it started. Then the magic one-step looper. So this is a small enough shank. You don't need to make it big. It's only going to hold the tail and one section of body tubing. So altogether you want to make something that's about about 20 mil long. That's what you want to have. A little shank like that, just about 20 mil long is plenty. So rabbit and a sharp knife or razor, because we're going to do a bit of shaving, a bit of manscaping. Usual for all pike flies, I always use Magnum Zunker. I don't like using the small one for trout, a little bit small. So yeah, Mimo says yeah, his one-step looper broke with 1 mil wire. I use 1 mil wire, but I preform the loop before I finish it with the one-step plier. I preform it with round nose pliers, and then when you squeeze your loop, if it's 1 mil thick, go slowly. Don't squeeze hard in one go, just really gradually. But I know quite a few had one-step looper broke because of that, so go easy. But in all fairness, 1 mil, it's fairly heavy for pike. I get away most of the time with 0.8 for most of my linkage, and I have no problem. Anything that's not connected to a hook, I go 0.7. You don't want to go lower, because after it's too thin and whatever you tie on it just keeps spinning and it doesn't hold properly. So use it about 0.7 for anything that's not linked to a hook. And if you have a hook at the back linking that, just stick to 0.8 mil. 1 mil is I find a little bit heavy now. I don't really use 1 mil for pike. Maybe for the guys who fish for muskie, or if you use these type of links for salt water, maybe 1 mil is necessary, but for pike 0.8 it's plenty. You have no problem with that. So I'm not used to speak that much lately, so I'm getting dry. By the way, thanks for the guys. I had a few bought me a beer this week, watching some of the older streams. So thanks to you guys, as usual, much appreciated. Money goes straight back into the stream and some video gear. So there's our 20 mil shank here. Just lock it to the back. We're gonna wrap it up. I'm going to tie first the tail. On the tail you want a good bit of movement, so I usually cut a section that's about, I'll do all the measurements for you guys. Yeah, about 90 mil, 9 centimeter about. Nice piece. Of Zunker rabbit. Okay, where am I? Let's glue this. So yeah, last time we were doing a stream, we were still in lockdown. Now everything is opening up. About time. Chris, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Thanks for being back too. Really nice to see you guys still sticking to the streams. So I'll tie just that tail on. Try to put it flat on that little eye that we made with the one-step looper. It's gonna help it just hold and not twist. All right. Simple as. So now what we want to do is take a razor blade. When you specify the measure for the shank, do you speak about the distance between the loops? No, the total distance from end to end of the shank. End to end. So that's 20 mil from right the end of the loop to the other end of the loop, top of the loop. So for this we're going to leave a little bit on the butt. We're going to leave a little bit of hair here. We're going to shave all that section, and we're going to leave a little bit for the tail for movement. So nice handy tip with rabbit when it gets a little bit unruly. Just a bit of saliva, comb it back, and like that it holds. You don't have too much rabbit coming back onto you. So wet it. That's it. So sharp blade or razor blade, anything sharp, anything that you can shave these hairs. Like at the barber. So yeah, like I was saying, last time we spoke we're still in lockdown here, but now finally everything has opened up. I started guiding for Irish resident at the moment, and on the 19th of July I'm able to resume guiding for anybody outside Ireland that want to come on a holiday. So of course you have the restriction at the airport if you want to come, vaccination certificate, and I think they're still talking about a PCR test. That might change. I think they're pushing for an antigen test now, but we'll see what happens. But at least now we can get back to business. Alright, that's about how we do the tail. Simple. Plenty movement. So got some trout guys as well from statesides, from I think Colorado or something like that, that contacted me about the mouse. These rubber tubing mice, and these boys fish a lot of mice, but mostly it's the floating pattern, but sinking mouse works really good too. This is a slow sinking one. You can make it faster sinking or lower sinking depending on the amount of bucktail that you put, and depending from what area you cut. So obviously all that top hair here, that is gonna go really buoyant. That's gonna make it float a little bit more, but because of the way it's shaped and there's no foam, it's definitely gonna sink. But it's a slow sinking one. It's a super visual fly. You usually fish it a couple of feet under the surface or a foot under the surface, so it's as exciting as fishing top water with it. The head push water, and helps the mouse to turn different directions, a little bit like a jerkbait. It goes up, it goes down, side to side. Really has a fantastic action. It's definitely, I caught so many pike this year. I had clients using it and loving it as well, and definitely a decent pattern. I'm really proud of that one, like the way it turned out. Sometimes you design a fly and you work on it and you're all excited, and I always end up being a little bit crap, but this one, it's absolutely perfect. I really like it. And like I said, I tie them with this one is going to go with a hook at the front, and the head is going to be put straight onto the hook. I tied some with another shank at the front of the hook where I put the head, so you have the head swiveling, the body and the tails, the butt swiveling as well. And I didn't see much of a difference in the catch rate. I'm still catching pike. Didn't catch any bigger one, so the only difference is it's just harder to cast. So no need to make your life harder. And I think the size of these ones kind of represent natural rodent size, so we kind of match the hatch, so don't need to go too big. Thibaut. Merci Thibaut. Yeah, tying and speaking at the same time. Modern. But yeah, thanks to the lockdown and COVID for the live streams, because I don't think if I would have been busy this year with the guiding, I don't think I would have started the streams. But it's kind of nice, nice little bunch of people. So, and I think they're looking at the numbers, quite a few after enjoy watching them over again. So we're going to cut the first bit of body tubing. I'll give you a size on this one. This is about 5 centimeters, 50 mil long. You don't want to make them too short, because the shorter you make them, the more difficult they're going to become. And you don't want to make them too big, because then you end up with a huge cone. So burn both sides. So that's the trick, like I said in the video. It's to preform the loop before you put it on. So you put one end. So you're going to end up with the first end that you pushed in usually is about roughly halfway. So you want the two of them to meet, the two end section to meet. So it's just a question to push it down, and when the two meet, pinch it and stretch the cone like that. So you have the two ends that are exactly flush. Good evening, Dirk. How you doing? Thanks for joining. So this one, what we're going to do, we're going to stick a little bit of glue. So another tip as well is when you tie the tail onto your shank, you can tie your tail not right at the end, but a little bit forward. So it gives you a little bit of body material, a little bit of leather here underneath the wraps. And that's going to give a little bit more hold for your cone and the glue to take on. I was just going to take that out of the vise and push our cone into it, and then clip it back into the vise. I'm going to tie all that. So that's when you want the two bits as flush as possible, as close as possible to one another, so that you get a good hold of the two layers of body tubing. We've finished that, so it won't slide, it won't move. There you go. So now bucktail. So to start off, you want to keep the butt section with short hair. You don't want to use too long hair, just to get a nice profile to your fly. So we're going to use, like I said, it's a good pattern to use the backside of your bucktail. When it's finished, don't throw it away. These are patterns I use all the time. Save on your bucktail. Get a nice little clump, and we're going to cut it. It's about that length. All right, because this is going to be folded in half, so basically once it's going to get folded, we'll have a little bit less. So all we need to do, hey Mr. Kosh, you're not too late, a little bit, but not too late, don't worry. Body tubing, like I said, this is the 6 mil, and I use the 15 mil for the head. So 6 mil for the body, for the butt and the body, and then 15 mil for the head. So now what we want to do is we're going to shuffle this bucktail, because we have one section of straight hair, and then we got the natural ends up there. So we're going to basically grab each side and pull a bit, and then mix them and bring them together. I'll just do that on the flat surface. It's a little bit easier. Mix them up, bring them back together. You have a nice natural looking bunch. and it gets rid of that fluff that you have, especially at the base of the bucktail. You get all that insulating fluff, and you don't want that in your tie. We end up with a little bunch like that once it's all mixed up head to toe. I'm going to put it halfway onto your body tubing. Couple of loose wraps, don't squeeze it too much, and then just with the finger spread it around. So no need to go all the way around. We're going to do 2 goes, so kind of a halfway on your body tubing like this. That's the bottom, that's the top, so don't need to go mad. And then you can singe it, and there you go, start flushing and start flaring. All right, repeat to the belly now. So like that, you have a nice even spread all around your tie. Thank you, Wild Man. Glad to be back too. It's been a while. Like I say, I don't want to repeat myself for those streams, so thank you to the ones who got me on Instagram and sent me mails of what you wanted to see in the streams. It's always appreciated. I have an idea of what you guys want, so don't be afraid. Get me on mostly on Instagram. I'm not as present on Facebook anymore. I'm still in and around Facebook once in a while, but I'm kind of laying off Facebook a little bit, but I'm still on it, like, don't worry. But you'll get me more easy on Instagram. So second little bunch, same thing, shuffled, get a nice little parcel like this, nice little bunch, and we put that on the other side that's bare. Again, couple of little loose wraps, and then push it around, spread it around, so you don't have any empty spaces, any blank space. Couple more turn, and then we can cinch that. Now whip finish in the middle, about 6 turns on the whip, and then we cut and close. Before I like to close this, what I like to do is on this amount of thread that I have here, I like to put a little bit of glue onto that thread. What's going to happen is that when you're going to push the body tubing back, that glue is going to trap all those hairs, and you get a longer lasting fly, a more solid fly. There you go. That's basically the back end of the body tubing mice. If you want, what I do, just to make sure it doesn't spin on itself, it doesn't move, like, shape your body tubing, push it the position that you want it to be pushed. And what I like to do is put a little bit of UV resin in there, just in the hollow there of the shank. Let it sink a little bit down. You can help it if you want. Spread it around. Let it drink, let that body tubing drink the resin, and then hit it with the UV light. Like that, you have a more durable fly. Thank you, Mr. Kosh. I'm glad. Keep you Friday busy. All right. We have the butt sorted. Okay, next we're going to go onto the hook, and we're going to link the butt onto the hook. I haven't looked into Discord, no, because I have so many things, and that's kind of why I laid off Facebook, because it's taking too much of my time, all these different social media, and I'm trying to lay off. So I might have a look. I don't know what would it bring to have Discord. like who's in the chat is familiar with Discord, like that's what I have to see to, like, you know, how many are in there, who is interested to go for that. Mostly Instagram is my main platform now. Pictures, not too many words, no argument, it's best. Okay, we're gonna create the link between the hook and the butt section. Also for this you can use wire, you can use anything you want. I like to use the stainless steel wire, the same as I did the shank for the butt. So I just find it doesn't tangle and it's strong. It's not gonna give up, it's not gonna break. So all we do is a simple loop with the one-step looper at one end, and then an open tag on the other hand, like this. That's basically just our link between front and back. There's no need to complicate things, and it's easy and it's super durable. Like, but I will look into Discord. I know a lot of gamers are into Discord. I will check it. All right, usual, a nice base of thread. That's going to give you plenty area for the glue to take on. So one thing you have to be careful is what's the hook? The usual Trevor. I don't change. I still use the Sakuma Manta Extra 60, the XL1, the extra strong, or the XS, whatever. Never had a problem with these hooks. Best value hook for Pike, in my opinion. Like, I think they've changed them slightly, because I kind of see before the point used to be totally parallel to the shank, but the latest one I got, you can see that the point actually goes a little bit inward now. Not much, really a little fraction, and I kind of like that even more now. So fantastic hook. Never they did let me down, never. Okay, when you're going to put that tail, you want to make sure that you put it the right way. Okay, so it's a fly that's going to fish hook point down. So this is our tail that we tied. So obviously this is the top of the tail, the back side, and this is the belly where we have no hair. So make sure that when you put your linkage like this, you have your hair and your tail sitting properly. So obviously it's going to go like this. So this is the back, and it's going to sit nice and neat like that. Tight on the top of the hook. Make it sit properly. So now we have a nice articulation like that. Lots of movement. When that head is going to push the hook to one side or the next, it's gonna create a good bit of action. That's about it. Bring back and tie that all the way to the back as far as you can without putting too much pressure and starting to bend that articulation. You want to leave it just on the right side. Don't put that articulation too much backward, because what's going to happen, you're going to get the butt section is going to foul onto the hook. So keep it fairly tight to the bend of the hook, but don't push it back too much, because you're going to leave it room after for that butt to get tangled back like this. If you leave it like that, you have no problem. And then with the amount of hair we're going to put at the front, usually it's going to block a little bit the hook point, so it should be okay. Like, Ah, Dirk, you got stuck in the mud. That's why I'm happy not to wade too much. I used to do a lot of wade fishing before with the waders and in muddy pits and rivers and I kind of keep my fishing now afloat, float tubes or boat, and let that glue dry a little bit. Okay, now we're going to get another section. Again, same length, 5 centimeter long, or 4.5, 4.5, 5 is about the one that I like to use. Good length to create your heads. Usual, burn the ends. Preform the cone. I'll just push it in. Get that cone formed like this. A little bit tricky at the beginning, body tubing, but once you get the hang of it, it's a great material. Like, so I'm going to put that body tubing. Basically, you see the thread arrives right at the hook point, so that's whereabouts we're going to put that body tubing. I'm gonna whip finish it and cinch it nice and tight. All right, same thing, your bucktail. Now we're going to go a little bit longer hair because we want the hair to go from, basically, this is where it's going to fold in the middle, where we have the body tubing attachment here. So we want hair about to reach that body tubing. Okay, so this doubled, that gives you an idea of the length of hair that you have to use, so you don't get a big blank space there at the back. You get a nice junction in between the two. So yeah, some people asking me to do streams about the different types of flies and the way they swim. So probably in next few streams I will be doing roughly the 4 or 5 different types of flies that I use depending on the way they swim. So now a little bunch of hair, slightly longer, so we can get back to here about, so we can touch and get about halfway onto the body tubing. So yeah, different types of flies and the way they swim. So types that are articulated, that jerk, flies that jigs, flies that floats. So I'll be doing a stream with each one of them like that. So do your mixing. So you can be a little bit generous with the hair when you do that, because what's happened is that because of the mixing you have some short hair in the bunch that's going to become loose, and usually when you pull them like that you're going to get a few that falls off. But don't worry, if you put enough you'll have some left, and if you put the glue in the at the end when you whip finish, it'll hold everything. So we're going to get the hair, and you see now we have the hair just starting to just about covering the body tubing. And do the same, we do two loose wraps, 1, 2, and then spread it out. That's it, perfect. Singe it. There you go, there's the loose hair, might as well come out now. It leaves it nice and airy. I like to go not too heavy at the back, and then start to build up a little bit more hair in the middle, and then towards the head we're going to put a good bit more, because with the weight of the body tubing and the weight of the hook, we're going to add a little bit more hair, and it's going to help it just to slow down the sink rate. We don't want that fly to sink too fast. but they take it really well. Like we had like most pike that hits rodents usually hit them and nail them really hard. It's good fun. All right, mixing another bunch. There you go, all shuffled. One, two loose ones. Make sure now the hair are kind of all parallel, not crossed, and that they all joined on the body tubing. Push down either side of the hook like that. You have a nice idea of how they are. Okay, we're good. Whip finish. Same. Put a little bit of glue in there. That's gonna hold everything nice and tight. Secure your thread and secure all the bucktail in there. And now push that body tubing back. And we got the second section. All right, now last section before the head. So we're going to add another body tubing. I put two on the shank of the hook. So one here, and then we're going to leave some room for the head. So again, same size. Burn those ends. Preform that cone. Oh, music to my ears. Thank you. That sounds delightful, that tune. Bring. Thank you, whoever that was. I heard a dono there. Thanks. Much appreciated, guys. Thank you. All right, do the same. Get that body tubing in. So this one, as you see, I'll just push it straight against that one because we want a little bit of room for the head. Whip finish, make it nice and tight. That's not going to move. That's not going to go anywhere. Okay, I'm going to put another layer of hair. I'm not going to put too many. We're going to go a little bit heavier on the head. Again, 2 loose wraps. Push it down. Spread it out. Singe it. And then we move on to the belly. So yeah, it's a once you get used to the body tubing, it's a fairly easy tie. When you tie a few, it's not a very lengthy tie, like it's a fairly fast tie for body tubing. Two loose wraps, spread it out. This is not just a fly that works for pike. I had guys that ordered them for me. They went all around the place. I had guys that had taimen on them. I had guys that had largemouth bass. I had guys that had Wells catfish on them. So any kind of a large predatory fish would eat those, no problem. Golden Dorado too. That's some people getting decent sized golden Dorados on this pattern, so that's nice to hear. All right, from that all right, nearly there. I'm going to put the wings. So that's totally a detail. You don't have to do it, but I kind of like the way it looks once it's wet and in the water. So it's kind of a two little rabbit wings that I make. So two small strips of rabbit. What do I have here? About 30 mil, 3 centimeter long. Just a little bunch like that, a little strip. I'm going to tie that one right against the body tubing, so it's going to give it a little bit of support for to spread out. Then it's going to be covered with hair, and then we're going to be able to pull them and tease them out of the hair. Thank you, Gollum mate. Thank you. Thank you guys. Kind comments. Much appreciated. It's nice. At least I feel I don't do that for nothing. So that's the whole reason I'm doing this. Like, do that, sharing the knowledge, because I'm not going to get rich streaming, that's for sure. But I like sharing and giving people different vision in their fly tying. All right. So exactly 90 degrees to the side of the hook. So we're going to put one here, one underneath each side, I mean. And that you want to bring the thread right against the body tubing there. You want to bring it and push it right tight. So like that you get the body tubing kind of pushes that little wing out, if you know what I mean. Like, you can see it there. One on one side, one the other. Like I said, this is mostly aesthetic, but it doesn't add that much weight to the fly, but it creates that little bit of extra movement at the front, and I kind of like the way it swims. Again, bring that thread real tight to that body tubing. All right, now for the head. Because we're going to use the large size body tubing, you want to create a nice base for the body tubing to hold on, because you don't want a head to be spinning all the time onto the shank of the hook. So either way, you can build it up with thread. That's one way of doing it. Or another way of doing it, you can use, I have that, you can use a bit of an old, just the leather of Zonker strip. You can use, I use sometimes, when I make my own tails with the faux suede, I use all the end bits of faux suede that I keep. I usually keep some, and it's kind of handy to have, because you can wrap that around the shank of the hook, and it gives you a nice base for the body tubing to take hold of. So do I have any here? Another thing that works well is a rubber band as well. You can do that with rubber bands. Actually, I'm going to do one with rubber band. Any rubber band. tie it on. Give it a few wraps. That gives you a nice thick base for that head to sit on, because the head is so wide, it will have a tendency just to spin around. So, all right, now the head. So we have our 14-15 mil body tubing. This is quarter-inch size, no, half-inch size. So same thing, make sure, especially on the larger size is notorious to unravel. So make sure it's all burnt and sealed. What I like to do when I burn it, I like to squeeze it a little bit, give it that O shape. There you go. So for this one, you can two ways to do it. You can preform the loop if you want to. What I like to do is just tie the first section like this, and we're going to push it back over the fly and back down, and it's going to create the loop the same way. So some glue. Now the head, I didn't say, did I mention the length? I am at 70 mil, this 7 centimeter, a little bit longer for the head because it's a little bit bigger. So I'll push that back right against the body tubing here. Push it right against it. And then we're going to secure that. Good few wraps, nice and tight. I always like to whip finish every time I put body tubing, so I know it's tight, it's not going to start unraveling. Okay. Now, I'm going to push that back. Okay. Push it back like this. And I'll keep on going all the way. And then we're going to bring, you see we still have a little bit of a lip forward there. So bring it forward again, push it back. And bring it forward. Get that rabbit back out. Let it breathe. And that's it. Now we have our cone and we can secure it. We finish it. And we have it. Now you can have an idea of your head. Okay, if you need to bring it back or forward, this is the moment to do it before the glue takes hold. Once you're happy with the size of the head, leave it like that. Tie flies for a beginner. I have quite a few easy ties on the channel. Definitely one that catches fish, and that's not too difficult to tie. I would try the flasher. Same thing. It's a fly that I use nearly every outing. I use a flasher. Like, I really like them. Yeah. So I would try the flasher as a first fly to tie. You can try simple bait fish pattern as well, just out of synthetic, out of Congo hair. That's another easy enough. The most difficult with the synthetic when you start is the proportion and the amount that you put. So just remember, less is more with synthetics when you start tying with them. Yes, we do have glue. We finish or seal with reps cover with glue. You can do both, like whatever works for you. Like I like to whip finish. I know it's solid. That's not gonna move, like. But you can do, yeah, you can cover thread with glue and give it a few wraps. It's gonna hold as well, like not a problem. All right, last, we're gonna do exactly the same that we did before. No need to go for long hair. So I'm going right at the back of the bucktail here. So I'm not using super long hair. They kind of back shorter again, because we don't need to cover too much now. You see the way we have all this. We don't want the hair because they're going to start sitting here. So we just want them to come just about here. Like we don't want them too long. But you can build a nice color like that. All right, top of the head, 1, 2 loose, spread it out, get rid of the loose hair and singe it. Yep, happy with that. So now we just have to do the belly side. Stick some eyes if you want. At that stage as well, if you want to make it floating, nothing stops you. Instead of putting the head in BodyTubing, you can put a double barrel foam head from Flyman as well, just right on the top if you want that to use as a diver or as a floater. That works pretty well as well. Actually, I'm going to tie a few like that because I have to do some floating ones coming up for myself. So I will tie some. I will put them on Instagram. But for this pattern, because it is a sinking one, I'll stick to the BodyTubing. 2 loose wraps. Push those hairs so they meet all around. Singe it. And we're gonna whip finish in there. And then again, right against the thread, put a bit of glue. And now all you have to do is push that head back. And that's it. If you want the couple of side wings, you can pull them out and tease the hair out like this and let them sit right on top. So you see it's kind of hidden behind there. All you need to do is push the bucktail out to the side, pull that wing out, and there you go. You get that nice volume there, that nice movement. All we have to do is put some eyes and a little bit of resin at the front, and we are done. Fly is sorted. So I'm just going to put the glue gun to warm up. If you guys have any questions, fire ahead. Doesn't have to be on that tie, whatever you want. Like, you started with the flashers, several flies. Well, if you start with the flashers to challenge yourself, I would start with like a mini bone, a mini T-bone. These are nice articulated flies. If you want to start into the BodyTubing and articulated flies, I fish so many flies with an articulation. I really like it, mostly at the front. Like I say, we'll talk about those type of flies in the next streams coming up. I'm not too sure if they will be on a weekly basis, but like I said, if you follow me on Instagram or if you're subscribed to YouTube, you will be notified once there's a stream. So I will try to put them quite a few days in advance. This week was a little bit late notice, but I will try to give you more notice before the streams come. I put some simple eyes. Eight mil is plenty for that. You're welcome, Gollum. Go and tie some, because like I said, they are really, really good. They catch me plenty, tons and tons of fish. So yeah, the eyes are kind of tricky to glue them on the body tubing to last. You can cover them with UV resin, but the eyes is mostly. I mean, once after a few fish, they still hold pretty good. I have to say with the hot glue, because the hot glue kind of goes through the holes there and gives you a good hold on the eyes. They last quite a long time, but I usually don't bother too much with eyes. Once they kind of fall off the flies, I don't replace them, and I still catch pike, like, you know, so you don't have to put eyes. If you use hot glue, make sure it's nice and hot, because the hotter it is, the more liquid it is, and the more it's gonna penetrate into the body tubing and gives you a good hold. So let the gun heat up nice and proper before you glue onto the head. That's it. I'm gonna give it a little bit of UV resin at the nose here. And that is secure. All around. Zap it. Look away. Do the other side. Yeah, I can do a bit more here. That'll give you a nice, really strong hold to that head. Why UV resin? Because it's it holds well and it's fast. You can put glue in there if you want, like, but I like the UV resin. You secure the nose, because if you don't, there's good chances after a few fish that head is going to start spinning onto the hook shank. That's one of the problem that you have with body tubing, especially with the large sections. They, after quite a few hits, they're going to start rolling. So at least your fly will always stay the proper way, like, if you know what I mean, like, it's going to stay nice and upright. You don't want that head to start twisting, because there is so much area, and especially pike teeth absolutely love getting in there. So it just makes them last longer. That's it. So there you go. Articulated butt, body tubing mice, and they have become definitely one of my more fun and favorite way to fish for pike. And like I said, listening to the people I send these flies and who bought flies for me, they've been catching so many different species. So mice is not just only for floating. Sinking pattern also work absolutely brilliant. So this is a really good one. Really fun to fish. Super easy to cast. Cast that absolutely no problem. Doesn't hold too much water. It's fairly hollow inside. That's no problem. Good fly. Definitely good fly. I really like them. So that's it. That was the BodyTubing mice, guys. Thank you. Thanks for the donations tonight. Thank you for the guys who still support the channel with the memberships. It's much appreciated. If you want to do your part, you can just go down there, support me, buy me a coffee or buy me a beer, whatever you want. But thanks again. You don't have to. It's not an obligation, but it's kind of nice coming my way. So thank you very much. If you have any other question, guys, I'll just hang on a few seconds with you, and we'll see what's happening. The type of resin I use, I tell you what, I use, that's from eBay, and it's in the jewelry section. It's just go in the jewelry section in eBay and type UV resin. This is the hard version. You obviously have a soft version, and it's basically exactly what you buy into the specialized fly shop that sells you a tenth of that bottle for crazy money. There's many different brands on eBay, different sellers, but they all mostly now they are pretty good. The early versions were still a little bit tacky at the end. They were not drying properly, but I mean this is what I paid, that €10, and there's 60 grams of resin in that bottle. It's a good size. I have that for months and months and months. Does me so many flies. Same thing with the light. This light, I paid, how much I buy that? I paid that for €6, I think, on eBay, and it's exactly the same power, and it's exactly the same body and shape that other branded lamps would cost you 3 times the price. So thank you, Spruce Gum. Thank you, buddy. Nice beer. So I mean, you don't have, because I see some of these lights. I gave details the last I done a stream a while back on the strength. I can't remember the strength of the LED that you need to have the light to cure the UV resin. I can look into that. I will put that on the blog with the stream if you want to have a look. But it's basically, if you find the right power of light, they are exactly the same than the one that I said are branded, and you would pay. I've seen some for €80, like, you know, for fly tying. I think it's just absolutely, it's just taking the piss sometime, like, you know. So you don't need that, and it cures absolutely no problem. It's not tacky, it's clear, it's beautiful resin, and it's all, I mean, at the end of the day, all these things come from mainly the same place in the factories in China, and they just depends where they go and how they're branded. But that's the UV resin I've been using for quite a while now, and I am super happy for the price. So like I said, I'm not sponsored by brands for tying, so I'm not pushing you guys with some types of UV resin or lights or things like that. I am primarily a guide, and I tie for my clients, and I want the best value possible for my flies, and sell them not too expensive, and they work and they last long. So yeah, no need to buy things like that. It works. Sea bass, nice. Sea bass is fun. Sea bass is fun. Good night paddling. Enjoy the sea bass. Hope you get a few. Alright guys, thank you very much. I'm not too sure if I will do a stream next Friday. I might just do. Keep an eye on YouTube, especially in the community section. I usually post on that, and on the stories in Instagram. So if there is a stream coming up, I will definitely let you know. I will give you a couple of days in advance. I probably will do one next week. All right, thanks for joining me. It's been a while, so I see the numbers are down, but that's normal because we've been away for such a long time. But it's I think it loses its spiciness if I do them every day for every week and every month. It's not the same. So we'll do them once. I'm thinking about doing them once a month and keeping it regular like that. Maybe first Friday of the month or something like that. So we have something regular and we do something like that. I think we probably will go with that. So thanks again. Thanks for the donations tonight. Been a pleasure to be back with you. As usual, if you have any question, any request, join me and get me on Instagram. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much, guys. And see you next time. Hopefully we'll go fishing soon. And I'll get another fishing video out for you guys. I'm kind of missing doing that. Thank you very much, and I will see you in a wee while. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I can't even speak now anymore. Thanks. Good luck. Bye-bye.